So now their goal is get rid of Castro. So you have the classic definition of strange bedfellows, the Mafia and the CIA.
The relationship between the CIA and the American Mafia had begun in World War II, when the U.S. invaded Italy through the South. And they didn't want any problem with the organized crime syndicates that really controlled that part of Italy. And so they made an agreement with the Mafia that they could continue to run their casinos. The U.S. occupation wouldn't bother them. And in return, these crime syndicates would assist the U.S. occupation.
And guess who came up with that idea? The poet spy James Jesus Angleton. He was stationed in Italy at the time, and under his guidance, the relationship between the CIA and the Mafia began. Angleton relied on his contacts with organized crime throughout the 1950s.
So the CIA and the Mafia have this history of working together. And in this moment, which is the early 1960s, their motives are aligned against Castro.
The hardliners in the CIA and the military felt that Kennedy was betraying the country. He had gone soft on communism, and in order to stop its spread, you get rid of anything or anyone that stands in the way. And there was also an additional motive for Allen Dulles, the godfather of the CIA.
I believe that President Kennedy had alienated much of the U.S. establishment by the time he was killed in Dallas.
That's David Talbot again, author of the book on Allen Dulles, The Devil's Chessboard.
I think he alienated not only much of his own government, but the national security establishment and the military-industrial complex that was making so much money, frankly, off the state of permanent war. He and his brother, who came from Wall Street, a very powerful law firm on Wall Street, the Rockefeller brothers, the oil industry, the weapons manufacturers, these were all their clients. And they had had it with President Kennedy and his efforts at peace.
What exactly does that mean, they had it with him?
They said that this was putting the country at risk. They thought that President Kennedy was a weak president, that he was a weak leader, that he was an appeaser, and he had to be removed from office.